Hello and welcome back, Checkered Shorts. We are all the way up to episode number 57, and right on the
Rolling.
of St. Pete, we are into another race week and in a very abbreviated week. We lamented all last season how much gap there was between the start of the races and the gaps in between, and we got a slate of races ahead of us. So
Yep.
before we jump in and talk about Phoenix, let's talk about the history of the number 57.
Yeah, 57. Not much car number history there. Really haven't been very many cars that have run that number. But 1957, the Indianapolis 500 was won by Sam Hanks. And that's a little bit of history there because if you remember right, back when Newgarden won in 23, that was his 12th attempt. Sam Hanks actually owns the record for most attempts before winning his first 500, and that was 13, his 13th attempt in 1957. He was also, they believe he's on record as the only guy that raced in the 500 before World War II, served in World War II, and then raced in the 500 after. So, and then we like to drop these museum tidbits. Right now, there's a display of pace cars. I think it's called Pacing the Field or something like that. Yes. And the 57 pace car was, back then, and I do believe it's still that way today. The pace car is given to the winner of the race. Mm-hmm. And in 1957, in Victory Lane, Sam Hanks announced that he was done. He was retiring. So he won the race, and in Victory Lane said, "That's it. I'm through. I'm retired," and took that pace car and he gave it to his wife, and his wife used that as their family car for the next several years. So but that car now sits in the museum. So if you ever there and want to check it out, that's 1957. Sam Hanks on his 13th and final attempt, he won the 500.
Yeah, the coolest grocery getter in the parking lot.
Right.
That's right.
I'm looking him up right now. He died in 94. I mean,
yeah. Lived a long life.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. I mean, that's a long time ago, but it's still not that long ago when you think of the 90s. So
I mean, he's like the Forrest Gump of IndyCar.
Yeah. Looking at photos, a nice little yellow car here. Good job, Mr. Hanks.
All right, so before we jump into what's coming ahead of us, let's go back to St. Pete. We broke down our power rankings, got together, individually ranked them, and then Brian throws them into the machine, and the machine spits out the Checkered Shorts power rankings. So you want to break that down for us, Brian?
Sure. You want me to go? How do you want me to do this, producer? 1 through 10 or 10 through 1?
Let's go 10 through 1.
Yeah, 10 through
1. All right. I think last time we did this, we gave you all 25. We decided that's a little cumbersome. So we'll just go with our top 10. Sneaking into our top 10 this week was Rinus VeeKay at number 10. Mm-hmm. Rinus then is one spot below our biggest faller in the rankings, and that was Will Power, who dropped 5 spots this week to number 9. And then just ahead of Will was Marcus Armstrong at number 8. Scott Dixon at number 7. Kyle Kirkwood held his position at number 6. Joseph Newgarden moved up 2 spots to number 5.
Yep.
Our biggest charger of the week was Christian Lundgaard, who got all the way up to number 4 from number 8. Pato comes in at number 3. And then, obviously, our top 2 were the top 2 finishers in the race. Scotty Mack at number 2 and Alex Palou at number 1. What are your thoughts, guys, and what you hear there?
Those all seem pretty reasonable, man. I'm looking at them.
I think I want to explain to our audience that when we do the power rankings just after one race, we're kind of projecting how we think it might finish at the end of the year based off the most recent race and most recent events. So, why would your power rankings not just be how they finished in the rank or how they're currently in the standings? That's not how we think of it. We think of what we know after this practice, this qualifications, this race, how we think these guys are going to, pan out throughout the season. So
arguably, I don't think
look a little different.
I don't think you can mess with 1 or 2. I think those two are pretty solid, especially after that race. Pato would be a pretty tough one to lose from third. You could make an argument for second. Newgarden's a big jump, man. It was a huge race for him. Still only seventh, but like we talked about in our last podcast, it started 23rd and just drove through the field. So if he can produce and he could go into an oval, he was the last winner there in 18. So definitely gives him more juice. Dixon, I mean, I think he'll be fine. You know what I mean?
Yep. Just got to make sure you get all the tires on the car.
Right. Power, same thing. Yeah, I mean, I think it's
just looking at our standings and where the three of us ranked, we were pretty similar across the board in most areas. Newgarden was one area. I had him at number 3. I was just really impressed with what he did on Sunday. You guys had him at number 6. There was one more that Kirkwood. Pat, you had him at number 3. I had him still down at number 8. When I did these rankings, I hadn't rewatched the race. I just did that just about an hour ago, and I think maybe I was a little harsh. I thought he had gotten up there through some strategy. I didn't realize he had really raced his way up into that spot. So maybe that was my fault for putting him at number 8. Maybe he should be a little higher. But if he continues to do what he does, then we'll get him back up there, I'm sure.
Yep.
Who were the guys that were knocking on the door? Just the best of the rest. If you had 11, 12.
Good question.
Yeah. Really good question there. One that fell out of our top 10 was David Malukas. He made that key error early in the race. He jumped back to number 11. And then our 12th driver was actually Marcus Ericsson. And I said earlier, our biggest jump. Well, he actually was a bigger jump than Lundgaard was. He jumped up 6 spots from 18 to 12. So Marcus Ericsson in that 12th spot.
And you could argue that that's a big jump, but there's nobody else really in that lower 15 that really did anything impressive. So Malukas, I think, has to be number 11, right? He had a decent weekend. Yeah, he had a fault with the flat spot, and that ruined his weekend. But Ericsson was up there for a while and had a really good weekend, and maybe should have finished a little bit higher, but he's tickled to death with where he finished, especially compared to last season, I think.
Yep,
for sure.
I mean, you're not going to put a Grosjean, you're not going to put a Kiffin Simpson up there to, knock on the door of 10, I don't think. I think those are 2 good ones to be knocking on the door for sure.
Yeah, I can see Rasmussen. That's the one that's sitting down there at 15th right now that I could very easily see him by the end of the year, especially with his prowess on short ovals.
Sure. He's got to figure it out. You know who I was unimpressed with all weekend, and he did get wrecked in that first lap, was Ferrucci.
Yep.
Didn't do anything in practice. I mean, I don't even know if they talked about him during practices or any of the quals, and he got his TV time in the wrong way, but just still, it's got to, unfortunately, he got wrecked out, but I don't know how well he would have done anyway.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's going to go. Let's move our way into next week. Pre-race talk, a little bit of preview of Phoenix. It's been a few years since IndyCar has been in Phoenix. So, Pat, why don't you refresh our memory on some aspects of the track and maybe a little history?
It's a hot one. Maybe not so much right now, but I think it was 82 is what I heard. So that's nice, perfect racing weather, actually. It's a 1-miler, tri-oval, has a dog leg there before you hit the front finish line. Newgarden was our last winner. Pagano was 17, and then Scott Dixon, I think, was a rain delay. If I'm not, that might have been Texas that I'm thinking about. But those are your past 3 winners, so it's a good tri-oval. I don't think we don't really have any more, do we? That they run on. So
no,
it's a pretty unique, pretty distinct look of it. The back stretch is straight, but that's the dog leg left for the golfers out there that know what that means. So a little bit of a jot to your left right before start finish line. So
yeah, a little bit, maybe similar to Nashville, maybe a little bit. Nashville's got a little bit of a kink in the front stretch, kind of that D shape. But yeah, it's kind of an odd shaped track compared to others, and that's why it takes a lot that you people talk about it being comparable to Indy because of, just really there's no consistency in the corners.
Right.
You've got to set up for, you either got to give in one area or another.
Right. Yeah. You're not, you essentially have 3 turns in a weird way. It opened in 60, our first race was 64, won by Mr. Foyt. So it does have some history with IndyCar. And it's a Saturday race. First of all, don't forget, 3 p.m. for us Eastern folks. And it's a doubleheader with NASCAR weekend. So I think I know we've mentioned it before, but that's only a good thing just to get more butts in the seats over there on the West Coast and just get some more notoriety to team up with NASCAR too. So I think that's
I'll be interested in that because that, NASCAR rubber, what comes off the NASCAR tires is different than what IndyCar has. And then the piece too, where, and I don't remember which end of the track it is, but one end of the track, NASCAR doesn't use the same line that IndyCar. Like they can cut down below the white line. And so there won't be as much rubber on that end of the track. And how's that going to impact IndyCar?
I don't know. I mean, you got to think NASCAR has 33 haulers. We have 25 plus media, plus tires, plus this, that. It's a lot of haulers for one weekend. I don't think it can't be that big of a place, right? So be interesting to see. I'm sure NASCAR will take precedent over all of that.
Well, you mentioned it, Pat, kind of the schedule, something to think about here. When you look at it, don't forget that it's those of you that are listening, don't forget it's a Saturday race, Saturday afternoon. It's not Sunday. So especially those GridRival people that we have, make sure you get your picks in, on Saturday morning or early Saturday afternoon. All the practice and qualifying all takes place on Friday. So starting at 10 a.m., first practice on Friday, qualifications at 2 o'clock. They're going to do a highline practice, which listening to some of the guys, they really need that highline practice at Phoenix to create that second line, that second groove. And then final practice follows up there at 5 o'clock. So a lot of practice there on Friday, practice and qualifications, and then go time on Sunday afternoon or Saturday afternoon. Sorry.
Love it. Who are we looking forward to? Obviously, Newgarden's our last winner, but that was 2018. There's some new heads in there, if you will. Who to look out for?
Yeah, I think it's your short oval experts, right? Like that's where I'm looking. It's the guys that know how to get around, that have no fear. Again, I go back to the highline piece. Like, who's willing to go up there? We don't have Connor. Connor's always been the leader on creating that second groove. Is it going to be Ferrucci? Is it going to be Rasmussen? Is it Will Power's been talking about it. He in his interview with Marshall Pruitt, he said, we got to find somebody that'll go up there, and who's going to lead that pack around the top side, and can they make hay there?
Yeah, hopefully they can, with the help of NASCAR, putting down some rubber and us on the high line, we can get a little bit more traction up there. But
I definitely see the Penske's, Malukas, the Newgarden, McLaughlin are going to be strong. I know Keith's going to put his boy Pato in there because of kind of, his skill on short ovals as well.
Yeah, for me, I'd be pretty happy with any of those guys because that's going to be a much tighter championship race. And so, if any combination of those guys can run up front, crowd out below, don't let him be out front. But I do like the fact on the short oval, you catch traffic. And when you catch traffic, you can't get out to a 10-second lead.
Correct. Yeah. I don't want to say that he can't dominate this race, but less likelihood that he could dominate this race. I think for the guys like Power and Dixon, you have to have a good race, man. You have to finish the race, but you need Top 5 would be great, but you have to get a top 10 just to stay in the balance. And then you got to have a good Arlington race after that. So you got to, for those guys, especially two veterans, got to stay in the race for sure. And that's a lot harder on an oval for sure.
Yeah.
A lot more can happen, I think.
I do think when you look at some of those back markers or bottom feeders, as we call them, those guys don't tend to be strong on short ovals.
Yeah.
So keep an eye on that. The one guy that is, and I know we have said our piece about him, but Stingray has had some good finishes in the past on short ovals because he stays out of trouble, and
Sure.
he just kind of works his way around and stays on the lead lap. So there may be somebody to look at this weekend, not to win it, but a top 10.
If he has a top 15, that's a great race. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you said, just stay out of trouble, drive your race, and you know that you're going to get past, but just stay in your lane, literally. We'll see. Rossi's another one. He finished the race, but needs to have. I mean, I'm tired of hearing them like, Rossi, no, we got a good car this weekend, and then it was a setup, and then we got. I don't care. Yep. You have to produce. Everybody's saying ECR made some big changes, doing it the right way. They laid an egg. They're not street course professionals by any means, but they tend to say that they're road course or oval professionals, so they have to develop their produce here. Have to.
Don't forget, I mean, I know everybody got the 2-day test there, but Rossi and Dixon and Power and Newgarden also got the tire test. So those 4 have a little more track time there at Phoenix than everybody else.
Yep. So keep your eye out on Rossi for sure. Everybody else, kind of a given.
I like the mix up in the schedule. Again, I think it's another opportunity to showcase on the front end of the schedule some of the things that are unique about IndyCar, which is getting on those ovals and hitting top speeds and, having to hold that machine going into the corners. Pretty exciting stuff. And so, you come off a street race that was good really from start to finish, but anticlimactic for the last third because you just saw the leader run away. You're not going to see that this week. You're going to see some real competition. And I think it's the most exciting form of IndyCar racing, in my opinion. And so showcasing it on the front end of the schedule's got to be good for viewership.
One thing that I think Fox missed on because St. Pete and then Coda were back-to-back was to have – maybe they did it. I didn't pay attention. It's to have Hinch and those dudes and Boyer, Booth versus Booth talking to each other, like handing it off, I thought would have been really cool. You're on the same station. The timing, you had plenty of time to segue into it. It wasn't like we were, 30 minutes late. Thought that would have been a cool handoff to see our guys hand it off to Boyer and the boys, just to show they're kind of united a little bit. Hey, we're here for race fans. Hey, how'd you guys do? Look like a fun race. Good luck over at Coda. See you. You know what I mean? Thought it'd be something to think about down the road for them.
It's a good idea. Speaking of Fox, when I went back and rewatched it today, I think I mentioned in the last episode I didn't feel like Fox did anything different. But I was watching it today. I felt like the cars looked faster than they have in the past. And I don't know if it's the angle Fox was using or location. I don't know, but it just seemed like they were really showcasing the speed of the cars better than maybe what we've seen in the past. Just random thought since you brought up Fox there.
Yeah, you didn't get a good view at it because you're at your daughter's dance recital watching it on an iPad. So, yeah.
Good point.
Hey.
And I'll be there again this week. So,
right. I can see why you might have missed a few things. But, no, it's I have not rewatched it, but that's a good point. We'll see.
I think the last mention we have is GridRivals going into week 2. Yeah. We can take on more participants. It's not going to kill you to jump in a couple weeks late. And so you can get right in the game at any time. We'll share that link as well. But it's a pretty spirited competition to go at the start. Brian and I are both right there in the top 3. And Pat, I can't remember where you finished, but I think top 10.
I'm in eighth.
All right, in eighth. Yes, you're not out of the you're you're not out of the contest yet. You're in good shape.
No.
You beat Petty.
Well, that's not saying much.
Love you, Kevin.
Yeah.
Yeah. So hop on and join in because that's a lot of fun.
Yeah, for sure.
It is. Well, I know we picked up one this morning. So I think we're up to 26 members now and continuing to grow. So
ask questions about it. I mean, if you follow us on the podcast or our socials and you don't know what the hell you're doing, message us, comment on us. We'll help you out.
Here's a little tip. I'd start looking at the schedule ahead because we are in that range where if you do a contract long enough, you could get to the 500, and you want to make sure that there's certain guys you want to have, at that point, and
that was
you don't want to use them up before you get there. So
that's my point to my brother-in-law is like you have to look ahead, and you lose them after your contract ends. So
you don't want their contract to come up and them have to sit out the week of the 500 for certain guys.
Yes,
Pato or Newgarden.
So make some money now. So you can have both of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right. Well, we thank everyone for joining us for episode 57, and we'll catch you next week with a post-race reaction from Phoenix.
Can't wait.